Hello Gemini. So for all the videos I've doing today, Leo, Cancer, now you, I started off with talking about my previous video, the previous sign. So I do all these videos in reverse chronological order. I have a lot of reasons for doing that. But one of the reason is, or the main reason is, the signs function in a progressive manner. So Aries is the most simplistic sign and Pisces is the most complex. And I don't mean that as a value judgment or that all Pisces are complex beings and all Aries are simplistic beings. It's more about where the consciousness resides in that particular planet and the relationship between those two things. So as I was doing Cancer is very emotional, very much about struggles with individualizing oneself, which is the point of Cancer. I'm a Cancer. So my Sun, Moon, and Mercury is in Cancer, but I'm a Virgo rising, which Mercury classically is ruled by Virgo. It is not in the modern interpretation. Mercury does rule you guys, Gemini, and my Venus is in Gemini, and my midheaven is in Gemini. So while I was doing Cancer, towards the end, I could start feeling myself getting confused and talking in circles. And once I finished, I was like, oh, this is the Gemini influencing creeping up. Gemini is very much about this kind of complete awareness of what's available to you in your environment, a complete understanding of things in the environment. And Cancer kind of takes that, puts it in the unconscious, and is more about navigating how to use that information to individualize yourself, as I said. Gemini is not so concerned with those things. You guys are concerned about the information itself, how interesting the information is, what you can do with the information, how you influence the information and not how the information influences you. This is my last reading before I go to a party right now, which is like such a perfect, now I'm doing some esoteric work. Then I'm going to go to, one of my favorite gay bars in the West Village on Christopher Street, and looks in that. Maybe when I'm done with that, I'll mosey on over to my favorite pub, have a little moment there. Maybe I'll just come home, do some more videos, like all over the map, dabbling in a little bit of everything. And we're back, Gemini, the next day. So we are back, Gemini. It's the next day. Let's just get right into it. What does Gemini need to know at this Capricorn new moon to maximize their manifestation potential? What does Gemini need to know? Gemini. With Gemini, I always think Hermes, the Greek god. I guess so. I'm invoking Hermes at this time. What's kind of coming to me is any of these could be true. Yeah. I kept these out since last night, and I just feel like now I just need to shuffle them. Hey Gemini. Now my battery is dying. My memory card got full last night. Let's see if I can knock this video out. This is stressful, man. The way they distract you. So what does Gemini need to know? Yes, okay, yeah. Prosperity. I can't think exactly off the top of my head, but there is a lot going on with Mercury at this time, which would suggest potential major growth. But also, like, with everything that just happened with the cards and now the battery, with the memory card last night, I'm already just getting this message of being underprepared. I remember last month, the real takeaway message was like, so you knocked on the devil's door and find out he was home. This is kind of a continuation of that vibe. You know, my Venus is in Gemini, which means not the way that I come off, but the way I like to come off is very Gemini. The way I think about the way that I come off is very Gemini. And, you know, the fact that I didn't have the battery charging this whole time while I was uploading the memory card, and, you know, there's been plenty of time to do that. And I was just like, you know, this is about the prosperity, I think, you know. The frivolousness gets you caught in situations like this. When I was just ready to like sit down, finish these last 3 videos, get it over with, now I have to waste more time waiting for the battery to charge. Prosperity, prosperity. How do we get there? You have the ability to manifest prosperity into your daily life. Ganesha asks that you work on integrating and accepting the spiritual truth that you create your own reality. Truly understanding this makes all the difference when it comes to prosperity. You are responsible for creating and generating your success. It is your divine right to do so. A job in itself does not bring you riches. Abundance is more than a job or having money. It is an attitude. It's about living with appreciation and gratitude daily for all the blessings that have been bestowed upon you and your life. It is easy to forget or neglect the gifts that you receive day after day from the universe. The divine, the source, the creator. One of your promised gifts is your divine ability to generate the success you want in life. By using your spiritual talents, these are abilities that are innate within you. You were born with them. They can include writing, speaking, creative expression, or business ability. Utilize your gifts. You are being given an opportunity to notice and develop them, and begin offering them to the world. You might like to start writing a prosperity journal. Call on Ganesha to work with you on this. Imagine what would be the perfect day for you and describe it in great detail to your journal. Involve all of your senses to make it as real as possible. See, hear, feel, smell, taste, and touch this experience in your mind and heart to help bring it to fruition. This is an abundance card. Ganesha is reminding you that you have everything you need now. It is time to claim your abundance. So yeah, you know, as I use the word frivolous while I was reading that, and thinking about the Cancerian reading, the Cancerian reading was really about, like, do you want to be a mermaid that, you know, sinks ships? Or do you want to be this Ace of Cups? Ace of Cups didn't come out in the spread. But more of this concept of, like, this divine inspiration, this divine muse, this, you know, do you want to be the guide or do you want to be the enabler? That's really kind of the Cancer message. With Gemini, I feel like it's, do you want to be frivolous or do you want to be seriously prosperous? Geminis can keep so many plates spinning at once, and that's great, but it also can really leak your energy. It can really suck up time. You can lose years in just playing games, playing the odds, having fun, being frivolous. So if your new moon intention, especially for Capricorn, in Capricorn season, is about success and prosperity and fulfillment, neglecting your priorities, neglecting your relationships, neglecting your physicality is not the path forward. Neglecting the little details like the memory card, the battery, my own health, that has prevented me from finishing these videos earlier, is not what's going to lead me to success. Even if my videos are successful just by my mere talent, you know, the talent isn't the problem. And I think that's what this card is saying. Like, yeah, you're clever. Yeah, you're witty. Yeah, you have charm. But what is that going to get you if you don't have discipline? What does Gemini need to know this new moon to maximize? What does Gemini need to know? Bottom of the deck, Six of Swords. This is a fairly popular card, not as popular as the Five of Swords. Five of Swords has come up in almost every single spread. Libra has been present in every single spread. So Six of Swords is really, all of Swords, all of air is about choices and integrity. Six of Swords is about the choices you make to push you forward, to move you along from one landscape to another. Five of Cups, Eight of Cups, the Emperor reversed, Eight of Swords. So the toxic place you are in now is having a sense of loss, feeling a sense of grief, being ready to walk away from this. You're ready to walk away from this toxicity because you know that there's this the winds of change are in the air, and you're ready to get ahead of that. You're ready to respect what you can already sense is happening in the environment and jump the gun. But yeah, the Emperor reverse, like there isn't stability, there isn't a plan, there isn't the word dominance or dominating, people automatically assume as a negative, but I don't necessarily think so. Civilization, cities, towns is really about, dominating nature. And I think of that a lot about the Emperor. And it's like you're not prospering because there isn't this sense of domination with your vices, with your self, and that could also be about the Strength card, and this is 4, the Strength card is 8, so it's like half as powerful, Okay, Gemini, we're back. I have exhausted myself with my own incompetence. Is this something relatable to all the Geminis out there? Is that the vibe? You want a hot body? You want a Bugatti? You gotta make choices, bitch. If you don't know what I'm referencing a Britney song. Britney is a Sagittarius, the opposite of Gemini. And if my cursing offends you, I sincerely apologize. Just making a little joke. But come on, Geminis, you get how language is funny. This is reversed. The tides are turning. It's time to move on. Which shouldn't be anything difficult for you. Okay. Coming off like King of Swords, which is, I'm going to go ahead and say is you're coming off like you're in more control than you maybe naturally actually have. I mean, maybe that is how you are right now. Maybe you're not overcompensating. Maybe you don't have a false sense of control. Let's see. The Empress reversed. So over here we have the Emperor reversed. Here we have the Empress reversed. Why aren't these cards working for me right now? Let's just put them at the center here then. Okay. Integrity. You're coming off like you have a certain level of control. You're coming off like you're living in a certain integrity, a certain value system. Like your choices are noble and wise and discerning and in pursuit of a larger goal. Nevertheless, things aren't manifesting. You aren't prospering. There's a lot of choices that still need to be done to honor this integrity that you're at least projecting. Six of Cups reverse. Now this is really interesting because I thought in this position, in Cancer, it was Six of Cups reverse that came up, but it was actually Six of Wands. So the fact that the Six of Cups actually did come up and there's 6 here, very interesting to me, this kind of trickle. You know, there's this trickling down effect from all the videos to the signs, which is honestly why I do the videos in a reverse chronological order, because it really does illuminate it's not just easier for me to do it, energetically speaking, but it's also offers more illumination to what you're trying to avoid. That if you continue on this path, what it's going to turn into. So you're not manifesting. You're not manifesting because you don't know how to stay the course in a very deliberate way. So like you come off like you're very, I'm thinking of a particular Gemini right now, and it's very interesting to me because he definitely has a impressive ability to project the narrative that he wants to people, regardless of the situation. He can stabilize a very specific, this Gemini, he's capable of cultivating the image he wants and projecting it out effectively out in the world. I noticed this ability of his, this Gemini's ability, particularly because I knew what he was actually going through, and our mutual friends had no idea. And it was very interesting because what he was going through, like, he literally moved away and was engaged and nobody knew. So that's what I mean by, like, you guys aren't really the King of Swords. That's not really Gemini's vibe. But I totally understand why how you're able to cultivate that projection. But behind the scenes, it's crumbling, This is just a front. Because things are bleak. And I don't want to say that they're bleak necessarily like the tower is falling, but they're bleak in the sense of, like, you have this image you need to live up to. This image that perhaps is a coping mechanism because you're going through personal challenges. And the only way to really turn your luck around to become prosperous is to kind of, well, this is two ways. It's either to let go of nostalgia, which could be this image you're projecting. Perhaps you're overly attached to this image and overly attached to the narrative, and that's holding you back from, the creative, fertile abundance that you need to move forward. Or it's that you're trying too hard to be cool and tough, and this idea of a man that you want to project, or woman, that you're blocking the abundance. You're blocking your own blessings by being too strict, too rigid. But it definitely seems like the projection is a coping mechanism, and you're kind of facing the consequences of that. But it doesn't seem disastrous. It just seems like perhaps the emotional landscape right now is a bit turbulent. And how well you cope with this turbulence is going to define how successful you are. And you want to be extremely successful. This is 10 of Pentacles. And 10 of Pentacles is, I just love this depiction of 10 of Pentacles. It's an image of a king and queen with their two perfect children, a boy and a girl. It's covered with roses and stars, cherubs, hearts, a key, a castle, a well-manicured lawn. All the things. Marriage, children, a home, success. They're clearly not poor, This idyllic, perfect reality that is only brought about from the results of commitments and long-term care, long-term work. So you're putting this front on because you think that that's the only way to arrive at your destination. However, this front is blocking you from you can't cut yourself off from your emotions, because your emotions are the magical agent that allows grace, that allows magic, that brings in prosperity. Princess of Pentacles. So yeah, you kind of have to go back to the drawing board. These are bits of inversions of each other, and they're both right side up. And what I mean by that is, this is a Swords card, but because it's in the King placement, it's related to Earth. Or at least this is my interpretation. I actually don't know where I got this from, if I just made this up myself or if I read this. But I view all kings as Earth energy. So right side up, the earth energy supports the air energy, the Swords energy. Reverse, the toxic earth energy is dominating the healthy air. Princess of Pentacles, princess, prince, page, I view them all as air elementals. Pentacles is earth, so this is about air supporting earth versus earth supporting air. And this is really the transition you need to make to be prosperous. The first is, and the Empress is very earth and air as well. I think the two main cards associated with, although you can use the two main signs, although you can attach many different signs to the Empress card, the first person for me is Taurus, and the second is Libra. And again, Six of Swords is a air card, but as you can even clearly see, there's water depicted. Pentacles, obviously, Cups. So I feel like overall, just like with the chemistry of the cards, it is saying you cannot cut yourself off emotionally. You have to let the emotions in and then choose wisely, discern appropriately based off of the reality of the emotional landscape. If it's a storm out there on your emotional sea, then that's a different series of choices than if it's calm. If it's calm, don't extend excessive energy to get to where you're going for the drama of it all. If it is dramatic, then you need to narrow your vision and focus. Because of these other cards, right? Like the Five of Cups, the Eight of Cups, the Emperor reversed, the Eight of Swords. It's really reiterating this, like, you are in pain. Your emotional landscape is problematic. It is in pain. And you need to move on. You need to move forward. This Emperor keeps trying to reverse itself. You need to stabilize yourself actually, not through projections. Not making everybody you know think you're in control, but actually being in control. You are not helpless. You are not without choice. It's just the dam is breaking a little bit and there's cracks showing, and you think if the cracks are starting to show, if your wit isn't super on point, you're losing out on something. Yeah, you are losing out on something by cutting yourself off. So just flip the script. Instead of using your intellectualism to distance yourself emotionally, use your reality to create a new ideal. What lifestyle do you want? What lifestyle are you hoping for? What lifestyle are you dreaming of? What relationship are you hoping for? This is what you want, but what is this? What is all the things? Is all the things marriage, kids in the suburbs? Is it dating in the city? Is it married in a penthouse? Is it a seashore cottage by yourself? What does success mean to you? And when you find that answer, make the appropriate choices to move towards it. If you want to be a husband or a wife, it's so interesting because if your ambition is to be a husband, then you have to make yourself into the husband you want to become. And we already know you know how to project yourself appropriately. Maybe your problem is you aren't the Empress reverse. Maybe the problem is you are interested in the wrong women. That you keep chasing the wrong women and then asking why it isn't working out. Because you aren't aware of the emperor you want to be. You aren't honoring the emperor you want to be. Therefore, you can't find your complementary emperor. Another thing to keep in mind about that is the emperor likes to dominate. And if you want to dominate in your relationship, in your career, in your work environment, you have to consider that in your manifestations. That's something you have to, when you rediscover your ideal lifestyle, whatever, you have to keep in mind your desire to be the dominant one in the relationship, or the submissive one in the relationship, or something in between. Who are you? Who do you want to be? And when you figure that out, you will get the prosperity you need. I thank you for teaching me a lot right now, Gemini. My voice has probably changed so much throughout this progress. It's been a long time, but my Venus and Gemini needed it, and I thank you for it. I hope my video served you as it did me. It took me about 24 hours to complete this little thing, but it was worth it, and I appreciate it. And hopefully you'll come back next cycle. God bless.